My philosophy of teaching and education. When it comes to education, it is reasonable to think that as a teacher, it is necessary to construct my own philosophy of teaching and education. All of that in order to clarify first my understanding about how teaching, learning, context, and human being are conceived within my culture, as well as how I understand them all. And finally, why I'm studying to be an education actor, but also why I would like to teach. I remember a lot of experiences and educators, some of them from school and some others from my second language learning process, that motivated me to start my teaching program. In addition to that, I must say that my experiences I have had during the last 3 years at the university have encouraged me to think with a critical thought in how I can impact on someone else's life. First, I have to say that I consider education as a libertarian action in which teachers and students have different roles that come together, after all, giving rise to a huge variety of knowledge and experiences that empowers them to question the reality in which they live with a critical overview. In other words, education has to be understood as the process of raising awareness that provokes the human being to rebuild the world. To carry out a meaningful education, I consider that a dialectical approach must be applied inside the classroom. In my opinion, the dialogue must be understood as one of the unifying concepts within education we have to work with. It is essential to construct a dialogue the interaction of more than one person in a particular situation, what at the same time occurs in a determined place and time. Here is when I reveal my affinity with Paulo Freire, a Brazilian pedagogue who expressed that in order to build a new society with moral and ethical values, as well as to build a new school, people have to throw the dialogue into solving problems. It also contributes to the development of free citizens, considering citizens as people who think and transform a community. As a language teacher, English and Spanish in that case, it is my duty to motivate my students within their learning process. This adventure starts when the students set up a historical dimension not only of their mother tongue but also of the language they want to learn, or due to the requirements of the context, the one they have to learn. In this historical research, the students recognize the origin and evolution of both languages, as well as the implications that brings along with the use of any of those languages inside the society. To continue with the previous idea, the recognition of Colombia as a multilingual and multicultural territory on the part of the students and teachers is crucial in order to eliminate once and for all the myth that in my opinion exists within various language education programs which conceive Colombia as a monolingual country. It means, in a few words, that sometimes we forget that we share our territory with lots of different cultures. People within these cultures have evolved and transformed their customs and for ages. Today, in our country, the idea is to learn English just for economic purposes. It means that Colombians have to learn English to allow new market opening and to enable that Colombia can compete with other countries in terms of technological and scientific advances. As a language teacher, I have the duty of abolishing the monetary horizons and underlying the importance of the intrinsic motivation for knowing and learning about other cultures that learners could have. So it means that for me, any foreign language is a gateway to learn about different cultures and it must be taught based on the student's